You're listening to an Accent Productions podcast.
Warning: Moody&D may contain descriptions of violence, blood, death, and similar concepts. Additionally, not every action taken by our players is morally endorsed or supported by Moody&D. That being said, let's get on with the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Moody&D. What? We are going to be talking about what I call the moving forward section of Arc 4. We're going to be discussing episodes.
A lot of episodes.
Yes, a lot of episodes. We're going to try and take this a little fast, hopefully.
Moody and
A
Speed.
lot happened.
Moody and Speed!
I am Speed.
And so we'll be working everything from, episode 50 all the way to the end of Arc 4.
Yep.
Yep.
So all the way to episode 60.
Yes. So, let's begin. Roll initiative!
Yeah! I've got 15.
15.
What'd you get?
Okay,
15.
hold on. So,
Rollies.
yeah, rollies. So, Mark, yours is 1.
Not funny.
19.
19. Where are these rolls an
Okay,
episode
so-
ago?
Right, bro.
You're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, I'm free.
So I'm last. Oh, perfect.
Yeah, you get to keep the same number. All right.
No, Rose is
Rose, kick us off. After the victory dance.
Okay, so I'm choosing between my question. Can I have like a really targeted question and then a funny question?
Sure.
Yeah,
That's
vaguely.
we call that a bonus action question.
Okay,
Yeah.
but hey, okay, my question is, why was your idea to shove a potion of calm emotion down Audra's throat? What went
We were
into making that
talking about-
decision?
We were talking about all the character development
Yep.
last episode.
I hate chaos.
then we
I
just-
want to work together.
That was Bran kind of wrestling with his new perspective on chaos. Like, it was...
You want to see my nose?
Hold on, it'll defocus the camera.
Stop it.
Like, that was an old Bran moment kind of breaking through into post-vignettes. Bran, like, you know...
Yes.
That
The
sort of
grab
thing.
the tail. That.
Right, yeah, he was working on it and it didn't go very well and, you know, all of those things. So, yeah, that's why. It was like, this is what Bran, as he's wrestling with all these new implications for his life, would have done.
Audra, would you like to rebuttal?
As Audra? Not really.
Prof Mac?
As Prof Mac, bodily autonomy is very important.
Amen.
And I feel like this episode showed
Amen.
that.
Good.
Yep.
Good.
Too many people have been had things forced upon them by other people. We do not endorse that here at Moody.
Hey.
Amen.
Hey.
We do not.
All right, exactly.
next
why Moody
question.
doesn't endorse all the actions of all the characters in Moody&D.
But I also
Moody
did like
doesn't
it was
endorse
the
what I do.
first time that it
Me
had
neither.
happened around other people because like Brandon pulled Audra's tail before and like she like said as much as she could, but Brandon was like, I'll do it again if I have to, and it's like, okay, she's 4 foot. So then have
That's true,
other
I
people
forgot
like
about that.
jump in and be like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I was like, justice.
Yeah.
Just
No,
served.
yeah.
And again, another point where Tor is not morally good.
Yep.
No,
Because Tor was supporting those actions.
Yeah.
They're not
Yeah.
good actions.
not good actions.
Yep.
It is interesting just kind of looking back at how like touch and body was a little bit of a theme in Moody
Oh, yeah.
in certain episodes.
Yeah.
It is a very interesting thing to me.
Yeah.
And then your bonus action question.
My bonus action question is I just wrote, why does everyone have a Russian accent? I mean, it's been hours and hours of
Oh.
listening to this podcast. Why did everyone choose Russian accents?
So,
That's his fault.
So that is me.
Yep.
You were Russian just because you accidentally kept jumping in trying to get your Scottish, and the tapped R kept screwing you up. So that was in episodes 1 and 2. I explained, so the Draconic language, when you speak Common, Draconic results in a Russian accent.
Yep.
Or like an Eastern European. My Russian's not good. And so...
His
it's-
Russian accent. He doesn't speak Russian.
I don't speak Russian at all. My Russian accent isn't great either, and so it's just a generically Eastern European sound to it.
Yeah, and
So it's just everybody's a lizard folk and everybody speaks Draconic, and so the majority
As
of
their,
you
like,
aren't coming
native
up
tongue.
and Yeah, and so like the majority of you aren't going to come up and speak to these people in Draconic. So if like Audra went up and spoke to them in Draconic, they would speak with an American accent. But the assumption is, since the party is for the most part communicating Common, everybody's using Common, and therefore all of the people who grew up speaking Draconic have a Draconic accent.
And I'm just such an audible person that when I heard those two talking, I kept slipping into it.
Well, and it's hard because Scottish accents and Russian accents both have a tapped R.
Yep.
And that is
it's
a real like hook right into an accent.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow. Good to know.
Who's number 2?
It's me.
Go.
Thank you, boy.
Gosh.
Kythe.
I need to replace your door sign.
That
this
died.
semester.
It died
No, it didn't.
last
No,
semester.
you are
God.
still my contact is still Kythe.
Okay. With Klaus leaving and the choices that he made when he left.
Where is this going?
What? Just I as much as you will let me into the head of Klaus, what was happening there?
That's a last arc question. I feel.
No,
The last
it's episode 50 when they find out, and episode 51
that's
when
right.
Audra
When-
delves a little deeper
That's
into
true. That is
when
true.
so for those who may not know, we went back to the town where Klaus
it to
had
Calrod.
to Kelvrod.
yes, you're talking
where,
about
yeah,
that.
sorry.
Yeah, okay.
Where Klaus had an interaction with some people, and we come back after Klaus has left the party and find them dead,
That's
Yep.
not
killed
it.
by Klaus.
I remember.
Yep.
It made sense. I'm not gonna lie.
It
makes
made
a lot of sense.
It
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense, but I still want to hear.
That is episode 52, I think.
Yeah, we're talking about that.
So-
Talk-
50
Yes, we started with episode 50.
well,
So you've jumped ahead a bit, but we can still get.
I mean, we're with the way that we're doing these right
Yeah,
now.
they're
There's not really
pretty
any.
loose.
Yeah.
so
Yeah. You know what? I can give you details here. So there's a couple of things that play into it.
Sorry.
Where to
Those are
start?
tight.
Bless you. Klaus was trying to convince those two to go with him.
Yep.
In my mind, that was Klaus's last chance at redemption. Because if those two were with him, they would have a chance to speak into his life and influence him, right? And that was one of the arguments that he made. But unfortunately, she, the female lizard folk, Sedek,
Actually rolled high enough.
actually rolled high enough to beat my persuasion.
Yep.
And so when they said that they wouldn't, in Klaus's mind, he was still angry from the vignette and from leaving and from Brand's existence. Upset with himself that he felt so powerless. And then on top of that, them refusing to be like the only two people that could influence him, the only two people that he cared for at the moment, them just flat out refusing. It wasn't rage that pushed him to do it. It was simply they know too much and they refused me, so they have to die.
And I will say, like, it wasn't a flat out rejection. The husband was going to go with you, but because his wife would not agree to, he would not do it.
And so
The wife's fault.
Well, 'cause the wife
it's
actually,
always the woman's fault,
the
guys.
wife actually rolled a high enough wisdom saving throw to resist Klaus's persuasion.
Yeah. And so
She was strong of mind,
Yeah.
and of will.
And one thing that the we forgot to kind of mention in like those images that you saw, at the moment when he kind of kills them, before he starts doing anything else to their bodies, he breaks down and weeps
Yes. Yeah.
right
no,
there on the
it-
spot.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he stays there for a couple of hours, and then he does all the other things with the eyes and the tongues, and then puts them away, and then disappears. So that's kind of what happened. It was that last breaking point. It was the last moment where these were the last people he will ever trust.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we talked about what Klaus does afterwards.
Yes.
It very much, these are the last people he ever trusted.
Yep. Yeah. So, yeah, there's that.
So there you go.
cool.
Hate me, love me, I don't care.
I don't
then
have
you
a
put
problem
on-
with you. I have lots of problems with Klaus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I
love
ask
you,
a reaction question,
Sure.
which I don't think is actually going to get answered, but for Rachel's sake, not Audra's? Does he do anything to the people at Kaizo? Does he go back that way?
Roll a persuasion check.
The dumbest.
This is contested for sure.
It's not. It's a DC. What is it?
Oh, do I add anything to it?
Yeah, your wisdom. Rachel wisdom.
Oh, Rachel wisdom is like infinity.
Plus
so-
100.
okay.
Plus 100.
Hold on. What did you roll natural?
A natural 12.
A natural 12? Yeah, that's enough. You have at
What you
least
got,
a plus
Christian?
3.
I was gonna say.
Thank you.
Well, actually, you guys will find out what you are next week.
There we go.
Spoilers.
Well, not really.
Well,
Well,
Yes.
maybe.
maybe. I don't
I
know.
don't know.
I don't remember. Yes, he does go back through Kaizo,
Okay.
and yes, he was gonna murder some people there, but they make it out before he goes through.
Yes, the mess.
Look at that. Sam,
Let's go.
Sam coming through.
Yep,
That's so
we love
good.
Sam.
Oh.
So yeah,
I just like know what might have happened for Audra going.
yeah. Although I wasn't fully sure, and this would have been a conversation between me and Reese because I don't know what the power level of everybody at Kaizo is.
Yeah, it's
So-
a very interesting question because I don't like doing things in world that don't make sense. And sending a bunch of level 2 adventurers down into the dungeon instead of the town leaders doesn't make sense unless the town leaders are also level 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so when you guys went down there, at least in the first place, they were level 2.
So I don't know how much they would have leveled up. I don't know how strong they were. I know that they were supposed to be weaker than us.
They're
Yeah.
definitely, they've gotten stronger, especially since Audra broke the mold with the concept of like going through the mist and exploring the greater world. Like they're no longer so localized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was kind of that's the answer to that question.
That relieves my own
All right.
curiosity.
That was Kent's question? Yeah, that was Kent's question.
Yep.
So I'm 3.
Yeah.
Yes.
Number 3.
Okie dokie. I'm jumping very much ahead to like towards the ending episodes.
Oh no.
So, well, I thought we were just discussing it all as an arc.
I
and
have
so,
early questions.
Well, then
Can I
y'all go
maybe ask
first.
those
Yeah.
first?
I thought we were just talking about the whole
We
episodes
are
as a
talking
whole.
about the whole thing in general, but I feel like some level of like chronological progression will be helpful. Otherwise, it'll be weird jumping all around.
Okay, great. Well, I just knew we never get through all my questions, so the ones I really
Fair.
want to know
Fair,
are towards
fair,
the
fair.
end.
So you can hold your action if you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll wait. 'Cause
I would be next initiative. I do have a question. Christian Rose, talk me through what it was like to do a joint character intro.
Honestly, I'll let you handle that one because I remember walking up to you and sitting down and being like, okay, these are the things that I need you to know. These are the things that you know. So I'm curious how that was for you.
Yeah, it was honestly, you might not know this, but I haven't been playing D&D for very long. Yeah, so
it may not be obvious.
it might not be obvious because I'm so good. And I know what all the words mean and I never mess up.
May I quote? No, Rose, you can't use your dexterity. What was it? What was she
No,
telling
you can't use charisma.
No, you
No,
can't
you
use
Athletics.
can't
dexterity.
use acrobatics to make a
persuasion
It was a
check.
persuasion check, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyway, so for me, I'd never actually like introduced that many characters. And honestly, it was kind of hard because I'd been playing on this campaign for like a while. That was my first campaign. And so I was trying to get out of that character into this one. And it was pretty hard. But I actually liked it that I was with you because I was like, okay, like at least it's not like,
Spotlight.
what are you doing? It was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it was like we're doing this
Yeah,
together.
hey,
And
how do you-
honestly, I'm never gonna forget that we came in on that dinosaur and front flipped into the middle of the
My
gathering.
favorite thing was that you both rolled 26 acrobatics.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. It was
Yeah.
It was
Identical.
amazing. It was
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yep.
It was providential. So anyway,
was.
it was very fun, and 10 out of 10 would do it again.
Yeah,
If your character's gonna die again.
Rip.
Laura leaves
too
with
soon. Too soon.
Sam lasted 10 episodes. Claw should have stuck around.
But never forgot.
not gone yet.
Not gone yet.
But she probably
But
will
she
be.
is forgotten.
She might be.
Oh,
No,
Not
just kidding.
gone,
Just
but
kidding.
completely forgotten.
she's alive. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Your answer to the question.
Two. I think she's having a full-on mental breakdown right now.
POP, you watch a character on Moody&D suffer a psychotic break.
It's okay. It's okay. Was this your Klaus moment?
I'm gonna go kill a bunch of
Moody does not endorse the actions of all of its players
But I find
or
Moody
its
does not
characters.
approve of what I do.
I find it hilarious is we say that more on the Gone Rogues now than we say
Then
them
we-
on the actual episode.
No,
Go, Christian.
cat hair on
Christian,
my
answer the question.
Say your answer to the question.
I enjoyed it. It was I had an entire introduction of how Sam was gonna appear in my mind, and then we said Rose was gonna be there, and then I was like, okay, we're not gonna come in together probably, so my thing still works. And then we did, and then I was like, okay. So I had to plan everything out of
You
how
mean I've been screwing up your plans since day one?
you weren't screwing them up, you were just adding on to them. But
Collaborative storytelling, not
Yeah, so-
interruptive storytelling.
in the end, I really enjoyed because there's so many like character aspects of Sam that I wanted to explore and that I wanted people to kind of notice. Having someone who was already there with her really, really helped.
Yeah.
And so I enjoy, and I also just enjoyed that it was just two gals, on journeying together. Just what?
Yeah.
Two gals.
You
How
and
many
Two
gals?
gals,
Just
says
two
the dude with a
gals.
beard.
Yeah.
Journeying together.
Journeying together.
Painted nails.
Painted nails.
Full beard.
Full beard, beautiful, luscious hair. But yeah, no, I enjoyed having somebody else there that could also like take the spotlight away from me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I liked it. I loved it.
Yeah.
That's good.
I liked their dynamic in the first couple of episodes.
that was so much
Yes.
fun.
It's a blast for sure. It's you.
To me, yeah, I was just gonna ask because I've asked this of everybody so far. Give us some thoughts behind lore. Like, why did you make her the way that she is?
Aside from her being a foil from
Aside
Klaus.
from her,
Aside from the one thing that you created her to be.
well, okay. So my idea with her was to have. I wanted to make a character that didn't have a tragic backstory. That's been one of my personal goals for all of my D&D characters. But also,
Avoiding the cliches by creating a cliche.
I'm just not like other girls. So anyway,
Yep.
Yes.
and what was it? Oh yeah. So basically,
Like what went into lore?
when
Yeah.
I was listening to the episodes, I was thinking, what does this?
Your arm is in the camera. Just be careful.
So then I was
No. You're going to defocus.
sorry. Whenever you tell me that, I'm just gonna do it more.
I know. I'm well aware.
So I basically was thinking, like, what does the team need? Like, how do I balance this out in a way that's gonna actually like make it more fun to listen to, but also make it more fun to like play for you guys. And so my
Very
first
dour
thought,
before.
what?
Yep.
Things were very dour before.
I
that.
know. I was listening to it like, oh wow.
I remember when we first sat, I think I still have the recording of you being like, yeah, this is really, they need someone who's happy.
Yeah, I was literally like, can someone actually like, oh yeah, that was a big thing I remember. I was like, can someone just like trust people? Like,
Nope.
Can someone just like
Nope.
be friends and trust each other? Like, what's going on? And-
Nobody does that in life. Psychopaths do that.
Yeah. So anyway, so yeah, basically it was like just trying to bring balance to the team, trying to bring like a more fun and like lighthearted aspect. And also just I wanted to really annoy Klaus, which
Nice.
didn't end up happening, but
Yeah. And I mean, mechanically speaking to that, Lore is a charisma-based monk.
I know.
And that was this idea of her being this force of will and like self-confident ego,
Yeah.
as opposed to the wisdom-based monk of hyper-observation. It was like, no, this is just a confident person.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it.
Which fuses a bit with like Lore was originally built as a paladin.
yeah, that's true.
And, yeah.
Funny thing, as just my reaction here, I was on the phone with a friend of mine last night who listens to the show, and because the first couple episodes where Laura and Sam were there have dropped recently, and so he was catching up a little bit.
Yep.
And he calls me and like literally picks up the phone, not what we were planning to talk about, and he's like, Lore makes this show so much better. His intro to the conversation that was not about
Yes.
Meg.
That's
It was
awesome.
just Lore makes this show so much better. Y'all needed her 2 arcs ago, and I'm like,
So badly.
why do you think?
That's so funny.
So badly.
Amazing.
So funny. I love
Yeah.
that.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Words of affirmation is my love language.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yes. Yes.
Good to know.
Yeah. So yeah, that just I agree. It was it's been funny. We moved slower on a lot of things.
Yes.
But
yes,
it's
we
been
did.
worth the wait.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's less weight, but at the same time, more weight to things.
Yes.
Right? Because especially in the later episodes, which we'll get to.
There's a lighter
when
air, but
lore
people-
starts getting serious.
Yes.
You know that things are going down.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Definitely.
Like there's very much an element of it's a lighter air, but people care a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and you guys already cared before, but it was like there's a lot more like tension
Yeah.
Yeah.
that I think there is to engage with. Having someone who fights the mentality of everything sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a massive improvement. It's your turn.
Yeah. Okay. Real quick, does Christian have the most characters that have died on Moody&D?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean,
Well,
technically,
no.
Technically, none of my characters
technically
die.
none are dead yet.
I just
Sam
have
still
gone
holds the
He's
record.
gone through the most characters on air.
Yeah.
Because Audra has been
Yeah.
Audra since the beginning. Bran has
Wow.
I
been your
mean,
only character.
technically, Ima died. So
That's true.
Death, no.
Sam.
Death
Yeah.
is Sam wins death. He wins characters.
Yes.
I almost just called Sam Regal and then realized that was not correct.
Yeah.
Sam Bowen,
Sam Bowen.
loved friend of the show.
We love
Gone but
Sam.
never forgotten. Rest in pepperoni.
Yes.
Forgotten but never gone.
I don't know. What was your question? Okay, and then my real question, because I was listening back to the episode where we're just kind of hanging out, and I was really trying to get in this building. My character was,
Oh yeah.
and we spent like half an hour on that. And
Yeah.
I was wondering, and I don't know why I typed these questions out like literal paragraphs, but I said, Reese, did you want my character to get in the window or no? I want to get in your little DM mind and find out if you subconsciously want your players to succeed at random weird things that they want to do, or do you want them to instead not waste half an episode on nothing side quest?
No, I loved you asking to do that. So here's the thing. One of my favorite things is when people come in having some experience with the game and behaving as though they don't have any.
Okay.
And so no, don't
Who
feel
could
bad
that
about that. I
be?
love it. Like it was one of my favorite things seeing you learn the walls of the mechanics of the system.
Yeah.
Or quite
It was
literally
very
learn
fun.
the walls when Audra broke her
Okay.
nose.
Audra broke her nose?
Yeah, she
Yeah.
ran
She
She quite
Beginning.
literally
speed into a
learned
wall.
the walls.
I didn't realize I didn't have dark vision.
Oh.
Because I feel like lizards should, but whatever.
Yeah, no, but I love it when you like I had personally no agenda to stop you, but I was sitting there like no government official will ever let somebody scale City Hall. That's not a permissible social activity.
At
Oh,
what?
look.
And you jumped off of a guard to do it. Like
And my favorite thing in that whole thing is we spent half an hour on it. You failed, and we never found out what you were even trying to do.
So here was my guess, because I didn't know what you were going after, but I've also played a monk before, and my guess was you were trying to get to the highest point that you could actively use slow fall from.
That's actually that's actually true.
Yep.
I remember it now.
Yes.
I didn't remember it, but
Yep.
that's actually true.
Uh-huh.
That's
Yep.
actually true.
I
'Cause
wanted
was
to
playing
climb
a
up
monk
somewhere
for the
Because
first time.
because slow
That's
fall
actually true,
because
though.
slow fall is the dumbest mechanic and you never get to use it, and so every monk
I
has
know.
this
she's
I
used
was
it so
reading-
much
this was-
already.
This is the
That's
first
true.
time, and I was reading my character sheet, and I was like, "What can I do even as a monk?" Because, like you mentioned something a while back about monks have to have the certain key power, or otherwise they're just like they're not. They don't have any like special
Use.
abilities really. And so I was like, I gotta
What do
use
I got? What do I
I
got?
gotta impress him somehow. So I was like, I gotta jump off this building and not get hurt. Yeah. I do
Yeah.
remember that.
I'm
No, and so that
crying.
like as soon as you did that, I was like, I've lived in the monk brain before. I know what monk brain does, and monk brain is just, well, when there's downtime, the only thing I could do is jump from really high places and not die.
That is
Yeah, that's
so
so true.
Wow.
not where my brain would
Wow.
ever go.
Yeah, no.
Nope, never would.
I shall remind everybody I took
You
a
could
bath.
almost call it monkey brain. Oh.
Whoa! Whoa! Boo.
Okay.
I'm dying.
Who's next?
I believe Kent is next.
Give us your question, Kenty boy. Oh, wait. Are we moving on to the latter parts? Because Prof Mac
I would say
was holding her.
Yeah. Let's.
I have more stuff for the latter parts. I'll let Prof Mac
Sure.
run.
Let's move on to the later stuff. We don't need to spend a ton of time on everybody having fun.
Yeah. Or, killing the dinosaur
Yeah. Go
guy.
ahead.
It's some vague.
Drop your reaction.
Okay. So Laura was really adamant about people getting hurt and the plan being discussed and agreed on by everyone.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, like for you, Rose,
like good team building?
how true is that to you in real life? And then I'm going to throw it also to everyone else. Like how is your response to if people get hurt for the sake of the group? And do you believe that if there's something being done as a group, everyone should be in on the plan and the plan should be agreed upon?
I would say I'm far less of a team player in real life. Like in the sense that I'm very strong-willed, like in real life. And so often if I am in sort of a leadership or direction position, I would say like definitely an activator. Like I'm like, let's go do this thing. Let's do, and whatever. But so in real life, I would say I'm actually less like that than my character is. But still very much the sense that if one person disagrees or doesn't want to do it, then I'm going to like make sure that person feels included, like no matter what the situation is. Yeah. So in that sense, probably.
Okay.
Probably, yeah. But like, oh my word, from the very beginning and then at the end when you guys were like, oh, I'm just going to cut my hand and put the blood on and blah, blah. I was like, no, we've been working on this for literally like a whole semester. I was like, no, we're not reverting. We're going to go forward. And then you guys like didn't want to talk about it. And I was like,
we were growing as a party and now
I
we
literally
want
went
to
to
regret.
Brain and I was like, listen to
It's the therapist looking at the person who was making progress and is electing to regress.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
Well, it was so funny because it's like,
Baby steps.
I
everybody, baby
could
steps.
see your brain working, and I was like, but I also saw where like everyone else were like, we're trying to get to the thing. We know what we got to do, so somebody's gonna do it. And Laura every time was like, no.
Yeah.
First of all, no one else gets hurt. Secondly, we all have to agree that this is what we're gonna do, and I disagree. So hold on.
Yeah.
And I was
These
just
are
like,
the rules, and I disagree.
yeah.
Yeah. But in the end, there was another way. There was another way.
Listen, which was
We
also a
figured
question
it
about-
out later
halfway
on,
through.
but
Yeah. See?
we didn't think we had the time, which is
Yeah.
very often what we do, that we
Run
kind of
into.
struggle with.
Yeah. It
Um,
was the
Yeah.
chronological rush.
yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, we have an hour per episode.
Right.
We really just want
try
to
and-
keep things
Ideally. That's bold of you to say.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair. It's in an ideal world.
Ideally.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Cool. I had asked it to the whole group,
Yeah.
but if we need to, for the sake of time, we can move on. It mostly was inspired.
I mean,
by
that's
Rose.
dealing with the later end. I think it's fair to keep discussing that.
I
for
think
sure.
for me, wait, say it again. Just
So
I want to make sure.
how is it that you as a person react? Sorry, I'll simplify it a little bit. How do you react to if you're in a group, everyone being a part of the plans and then everyone agreeing on those plans?
Yeah, I think that is definitely. I like that, but I don't need it. I'm the guy in group project where if it looks like nobody's going to do the work, I'm all of a sudden in charge and you're doing that and you're doing this and you're doing and that sort of thing. And so then it becomes a point of I don't care if you agree that's what you're doing for this group project. Because I've had one too many where I've been straddled with all the work, so I just don't let people do it to me anymore. And I just tell them, yeah, so here's what you're doing. This is due by this day, and I will hound you about it for a week before then. So... one too many group projects that didn't end that way. But so in that case, like, yes. And like, I've had a couple good group projects where everybody like was in on it and we all agreed. And those are always the best ones. So I'd prefer it to be that way. I don't need it to be that way.
Yep.
For better or for worse. I'm not necessarily saying that taking control of your group project is a good thing. but it just ends up happening to me more frequently than I would like.
Also, the question of, you posed the question as well of people taking suffering upon themselves for the sake of the group. Where do you stand on that?
If you are if there's no other way and you are fully aware and cognizant of what choice you are making, I think that is perfectly reasonable for somebody, especially in like Christian circles and things like that, to be self-sacrificial and to take suffering upon themselves, right? Like I think that's a pretty clear one, just thing we see in scripture, but then also throughout Christian history, like that's been a thing.
Yep.
So I think that is something that's pretty common. Again, I think one, you have to be in your right mind to do it properly, and then two, there has to be no other way, right? Like if you're just running into suffering to do it because you want to feel good because you've done it, that sort of thing, I think that's stupid. I think that's masochistic. But if there's no other way, one person willingly sacrificing themselves for the good of the others, I think is a really beautiful thing. And so, yeah.
Personally, I like it when everybody agrees.
Yeah.
I'm not an Enneagram 9, but I do have a wing 9 that's available to me, and I like people to agree.
Yeah.
I also hate when decisions are left to me in a group. It frustrates me immensely.
Are you an 8?
Huh?
Are you
No, he's a 1.
a 1?
I'm a 1. Rules and order and systems and right and wrong.
I'm a 9.
You're a 9?
I'm a 9.
They're
Yeah.
nuts.
He
Both of
is.
us, Yep.
Yeah, I like everybody to agree.
8-wing 9.
What?
We're all in that one corner of the
Yep.
Enneagram.
We really.
system.
What are you? 4.
A 3.
Hold on, 3-wing 4 though.
3 wing.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, but no, I like people to agree. As far as the like self-sacrificial stuff, people can get hurt, but it can only be me, which is a bad mentality. But I'm like, that's always been the mentality. I'm like, because I live in
The martyr mentality.
Huh?
The martyr mentality.
Maybe I live in chronic pain.
Yeah.
And have a bunch of neurological conditions.
Yep.
So because of that, I'm like, well, I'm already suffering. Why not just be me? So,
Yep.
yeah, that's my mentality.
Reese and I were great roommates
It's
because both
not-
of us have the exact same mentality.
Yes, we balance each other out. Yeah, no, it's not
Yeah,
a
we
good
really do.
mentality. I do recognize that. I try not to do that, but yeah.
No, but like literally, the two of us do the exact same thing. In that way.
Ken said doo-doo. Sorry, can't let those ones pass me by.
Yeah.
Only
Thank you.
not
Christian,
gonna
how
be
about
young
you?
forever.
Yeah.
I'll try to make this quick.
Yeah.
When it comes to planning in a group, for me, I care about everybody's opinion and I want everybody to feel included for those people who want to be included. If you don't care about the project, I don't care about you. Easy.
Easy enough.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Realistic expectations.
I don't care about your words. I don't care about your disinterest. I care about you wanting to do the thing. If you don't want to do the thing, you can sit there or you can, I'm not going to say that, or you can leave.
Yeah.
And that's where I stand. When it comes to sacrifice, I believe that sacrifice is the Christian identity. Not to the point of martyrdom or the seeking of it, but we are
He just gave a little frown. He went,
I was like, feel called out for my struggle.
No. That's the thing. You recognize it as a struggle.
Yeah, no, it's a problem.
What I mean is we are called to not care for ourselves. We are called to care for others and to care for the needs of others and to be ready to lay down what we have for the sake of other people. We live in a failed reality where that isn't always the right thing to do,
Right.
but we should seek it as much as we can.
I will also clarify, like, it's not that we're not called to care for ourselves, it's that we're called to care for others as much as we care for ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and more.
Yes, and to be self.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
There's just making the point of it's not to the detriment of oneself that you are like it's not to the point where you neglect your own self.
Yeah. It's just the way that I view it, and I've had many conversations about this with people, is in the kingdom of God, how I believe that it works is if I care for your needs and you care for my needs, we don't need to care about our own. because everybody's needs are cared for.
Right.
But that's just not how the world
It's not a perfect world. It
works
doesn't
right
work out
now.
that way. But you're right. Like
Jesus,
in a
please
perfect-
come.
Amen.
So yeah,
No. Yeah.
that is my answer.
I love it.
And Laura gave hers,
Yeah.
so
Yep.
we can move on.
I believe that's me. I'm going to push us further in towards the end.
Are we going to talk about the ethical discussion that we need to have?
Not yet. That's not where I'm bringing us.
Ken has his own gone
which
rogue in his
one?
head.
Yes,
Yeah.
he does.
Okay. I figured Prof Mac was going to bring it up, but I'll bring it up if we need to. The last episode, the choice.
We're going to get there.
yeah,
obviously
we're getting there.
there.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're
Also, I
taking
just
our
want to
time.
say a reaction from last episode because we brought it up of like Audra's, what is it? Degression, if you will.
Yeah,
from like the
regression,
vignette.
yeah.
Regression. That's what I was
Yeah.
looking for. It's interesting that you guys see it that way.
Yeah.
Because I think in my mind, I was like, people grow, but a lot of times you see the growth in areas that you've been working on it.
Mm.
And then when you see it again in a new way, at least that's true for me of like,
Yeah.
I think, wow, I have really learned patience, but I've learned it in this particular way. And then when it comes in a new way, I'm like, really, Lord? It's like, I haven't learned it at all. Right. And so like,
Yes. Yeah.
in the new characters coming in, like that was Audra for her of like, I grew. It didn't go like, especially when things don't go how you think
Yes,
they're supposed to go. So then these new people came in. I was like,
Yeah.
you gonna have to earn this. Like,
Yep.
Yeah, I think regression is a bad way of
yeah.
the
But I just
concept.
laughed. I was like,
It's-
oh, that's an interesting way of looking. And people were saying that in the episode of like, wow, all that growth. And I was like, no, it's still there. It's just like, it's gonna take her a second. It's gonna take her a
Yes.
second to like
Yeah.
connect the dots.
Yeah,
That's fair.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Now? Just now when you were saying that?
No, in the last Gone Rogue
Last
episode.
Gone Rogue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last
Uh,
month.
All right.
30 minutes ago.
I'm going to
Oh.
punch this a little further. The invasion plan was revealed thanks to a 31 investigation
Oh,
check.
A to
Gosh.
the men and the women.
Invasion plan?
Yeah,
all
the-
the
the
troops
map-
underground and like the outpoints at all of the major cities.
Yeah.
It's not just to the investigation check. It was also the 32 that Prof Mac rolled when she was looking for the hideout.
Also true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There was just a string of
Yes,
really
yeah, the
good
natural-
rolls.
Yeah.
The natural
Prof
20
Mac
that brought-
was the
brought
only
you guys
one
there
who
in the first
rolled
place.
good.
I will say, I rewrote the end of the arc for that. That was
Oh.
not where you guys were supposed to go.
I didn't think so.
You
Yep.
rolled a natural 20. This, like, behind the DM screen, you never found what Ushivuri's letter was about.
I was
Never
about to
found
mention
that.
that. We never even met Ushivuri.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We went
we stumbled
completely
in.
in a
We
different
stumbled in
way.
through
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
the cellar.
Yeah.
On
And so
accident.
you guys discovered all of these troops, this whole invasion plan. First, did any of you think it was this bad? And what are your current ideas to pull up and out of this? If there are any.
That's not for you to know right now.
Yeah, we can't. No.
No.
I mean,
DM screen.
no. I mean,
Player screen.
I no stinking idea. I mean, it clarified some things, right? It made sense how the body parts of Kuza were moving around unseen and not really affecting any, like, to
why
move,
why their footprints suddenly were disappearing.
Right,
I
yeah.
don't think that's where
That's not how the footprints disappeared.
I know.
Ah,
I that's the thing. I think that the tunnel was not there before. That's what I.
Oh, that's
No,
to
because
say-
we got the map that episode when I rolled the natural 20.
yeah.
He's talking about like way before when
Like
they all
way
disappeared.
before, way like in
like
Arc
Satori,
3
like the
and-
first time we ever met.
Got it.
them.
Got it.
Yeah,
Got
yeah.
it. Copy it. Okay.
But okay, either way, I still like no idea it was that bad. Like I'm thinking Kuza, his minions, Ushivuri, maybe his minions. Now that we've met, know that he has at least one, so he probably has more. I'm thinking, small band of maybe 20 total with the body parts and Kuza and Ushivuri.
Yep.
Not an army.
I was not surprised. Like I was surprised, but I wasn't. It was kind of like a.
I wasn't surprised.
Of course.
Well, I
Yeah.
was
Yep. Yep. And the only thing that I was
This
surprised.
might as well happen.
The one thing that surprised me was that Klaus had no idea because I didn't ask the right questions.
And Klaus could have warned us.
There's more to why Klaus doesn't know.
Yeah, no, I figure that there's more. Klaus and Kuza weren't buddies. They hated each other,
That's true.
but they worked together. Yeah. So that was
What about you
my.
guys?
I had no idea. I'm gonna be honest. I was thinking very simply because it like started with trying to get a dragon heart out of Ima that then grew into there's this whole underground world. But I was like,
It's
okay,
all
Kuza just wants to like
Mm-hmm.
get the thing. And I think like some of this is it's the way that I play Audra, but then also just the way that my mind works. I don't really, unless I have to be the plan maker, I very much just go along for the ride. And I'm not trying to like so many times when there's episodes and like, especially y'all like in the first few arcs were like, oh, I know what's going on. Like I know, but my character doesn't know. I was like, what? I'm not even trying to put pieces together. Like I'm dealing with what is right in front of me because I think so much of my life, I'm so much of a planner. So then to be able to be like, I just get to react and be a character.
Yeah.
And I know this about myself. Like I will probably never play a strategist character. I did a one shot like that and it was just so exhausting for me that then the game wasn't enjoyable because I was taking everything I do in my everyday life
and applying it to the fantasy world that is this miniature escape.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think I'll always play someone that's just like reacts to the things in front of them. So yeah, I was very, very shocked and also just confused. I was like, where's all of this coming from? Like, yeah.
You didn't also get all the information because we only got to like
30. We got 31 of the 35.
No. You rolled a 31.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
But we didn't
you
get to the
playing-
DC
Yes,
35.
there was one more DC above it that you did not get to.
But yeah, for at least for what you think we're gonna do, Sam was already trying to work on something.
Yeah.
That's why she wasn't coming over because I was so either we need to bury this place and that was gonna be my next
Fireball.
move. Just fireball the ceiling until it collapses.
Yeah.
And then send everybody out and that was my idea. Or initially she was just trying to figure out how to rewrite
Because
it.
if we could have rewritten even a couple of them, like that would have given us a fighting chance to even have 10 on our side. Would have been something, right? It would have allowed us to get more. If we had 10 by the time the Ushavuri and Satori showed up, we could have let...
Ushavuri never showed up.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, he never came. Or
She. But if we had 10, we could have sent those 10 to hold them off while Sam was rewriting more. Like, it would have just made everything better if we could just have gotten those 10.
So, yeah.
Even 5 started, like, of turn, but it just didn't.
Yeah.
I generally I generally tend to a little more high intelligence characters because I love putting together these kinds of puzzles.
Yep.
And it's nice when you can do it as a character and not just metagame it.
Yeah, and so I was just like Sam, right in it, and when suddenly I started turning to stone, I was like, dang it, I can't finish what I'm doing.
Yeah.
That was the thought
even
going
me.
through mine and Sam's mind at the moment. I was like,
I can't.
dang it, an interruption.
Wasn't even like, I'm going to stop maybe because it's thing in a minute.
It was also because I was in Heart of Stone.
Yes.
But it was just like, dang it, I want to figure this out.
What an inconvenience.
What about you?
Not again.
Rose.
I actually knew, like, I thought that there was going to be a ton of people down there because of that guy that we found in the dinosaur suit who was like, oh, they're dinosaur suit.
Skeleton.
Yeah, we got you. I know what you're talking about.
You know what I mean? And then he was
Max.
like, oh, yeah, it's like a patrol or whatever. So in my mind, I was already like, oh, yeah, there's probably like a ton of them somewhere, like a little base or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I was imagining that we were probably going to get somewhere that was going to have like a ton of enemies. But
Okay.
I thought it would be like a camp or something of some sort where we could like observe it and then like do like a what's that Bible story where they like go in at night with a trumpet.
Gideon, yeah.
Yeah. No, it wasn't like that at all. And also, I remember thinking as soon as we left, I was like, do you guys remember when we were like shooting in the dark and trying to like stop the concentration and stuff like that? I just kept thinking, wouldn't it have been so cool if I could like use my telekinetic hand, catch it on fire, and then have it grab a hold of that thing so that you guys would know where to shoot? And I was like, why didn't I think of that at the time?
Like put a rag on it and then
Yes,
like tie the rag to the telekinetic.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That would have been
been
I
great.
know, I
It
was
was
like,
really cool.
That's okay.
Hey, you always hate
Best
when
laid
you-
plans after.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so true.
I
every
feel the
time.
same way
I
about
was literally
conversations
like,
that we have
we
provided.
wasted so
I
much
coulda said
time
that.
trying to shoot in the dark, and we wasted
Yep.
so many rolls too.
So for me, the most frustrating thing was the entire time I thought that it was the beads that were turning me to stone, not that it was someone else. If I had at least asked the question, because Sam would have figured that out easily, but I didn't. And so I would have started throwing fireballs in that direction.
Yeah.
Just somewhere.
I also
to
made
stick.
the mistake of trying to go for Bran has cast spells that he has had on his spell list, but it hasn't had prepared, hasn't learned. Like it's happened before, right?
Yeah.
Where Bran's been able to pull something out of wild magic. I started with a 5th level spell. I should have that I don't have on, like it's not on the spell list.
It's not on your
warlock.
spell
Not on my spell list as a warlock. Dispel magic is.
Yep.
I should have started with that, and it's a 3rd level spell. I have access to it. It would have been a much easier grab, probably a much lower DC.
And the first time I cast Dispel Magic, you could have made it a nat 20.
But it would have been silvery barbs anyways. So.
Well, I still had counterspell opportunities at that point.
True.
Yep.
So it would have been
the
better. I
difficulty
just
was
wasn't thinking.
You pulled out the portents when she had run out the actual ability to interact with all of these things.
Because I was at the end of it, I was left with just like 2nd level spell slots.
Right.
That's all I
Which
had.
doesn't do anything when you get to those
anything.
higher levels of
Yeah.
magic.
No.
So it was a whole
So
thing.
an invasion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think for.
I believe it's your turn.
It is my turn.
Yes. Well, do we want to do the ethical discussion? Because this is probably our last question.
Well, no, this isn't. 'Cause we still got 15 minutes left in this episode.
I don't really have any questions.
Well, then let's begin the ethical discussion.
I mean,
unless you have something that's like a throw out.
no, not really. I mean, I honestly enjoyed this last arc a lot. I had something in my mind that I wanted to ask someone, but I don't remember. So
I have
Okay.
a question. It's a really quick question.
It's your turn.
I really want to know, Bran, what's the max amount of damage you can do in one, like how much damage can
One
you
attack or one turn?
in one
attack.
Because when I was listening to that,
Booming blades plus.
So
You
no,
have Eldritch
smite.
Smite.
Eldritch Smite.
well,
just smite.
but he can smite on a booming blade.
Yeah.
So let's
yeah, you
Booming
can.
blade's a bonus action.
So
No, it's an action.
If
You can smite on it.
if he hits a natural 20 or a natural 19 on a creature that he has his hex bonus on, he'll do.
Let's say
your maximum
Maul
level smite is
2d6.
Maul is 2d6 plus your max level smite is 3.
Third, so that's
3.
48.
So 4d8 plus 2d8 for 1d8 from booming blade
Yep.
plus 2d8 if they move plus the then plus whatever your modifiers are. So,
It
Which
would
is like
be-
a 10.
It's a
it's-
10.
so it's like 2d6 plus
2d6 plus like 5d8 plus 10.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7d8. So 2d6 plus 7d8 plus 10 times 2.
Well,
That's-
no, times 2, then plus 10. You don't multiply the
Yes, yeah,
modifiers.
times 2.
So we said 78 plus what? Two.
So 7d8, which averages
I
out.
got that.
Which
56.
yeah. So
no, what's the max amount?
No,
Yeah,
that's what we're
yeah,
trying to
that's
do.
So
Okay, yeah.
56
Uh-huh.
plus 2d6, so that's 12. You multiply that by 2 and then add 10 in a single hit. He could do 146 damage on a
If I rolled max damage.
If he rolled max damage, and he
Average would be
crit-
half of that.
Yeah, average would be half of that,
What?
about 70.
Yeah.
You can do some insane damage.
Average of a crit would be about half of that.
Yeah.
Average of not a crit would be a lot lower, but
Yeah.
still.
Whoa,
So.
that's awesome and crazy.
All right.
Yep.
So
Okay, the ethical discussion.
yeah, so I think rather than doing a pass around the questions with this, sort of just review the elements that were in play. So 1 vestige, a half vestige, and 2/5 of a vestige demanded for the life of a party member at the weight of what was perceived as everything else.
Yep.
Talk me through where all of you were at. I think we saw a lot of that come to light, but let's also talk about like behind the scenes player mentalities about what would be the right move versus
Right.
character mentalities about what would be the right move. Or like even just navigating that situation. Like Laura did not speak a lot. And I think some of that maybe came down to
That's because Rose was tired.
yeah, I think some of it was probably that. I think some of it was also like Laura as a character is not very Arcana heavy, and the situation
Yeah.
was very Arcana
Yeah.
based.
Yeah.
That
and
too.
yeah, and so like the best situation that you could do was just burning hands
Yeah,
everything.
my best
And the
attack
one
is
arcade
like
character was turned to
1d6.
stone.
And the one arcane character chose to tell the one person in the party who wouldn't tell anybody else.
Yeah. And that
like the
so
lead.
Yeah,
you
when he
the
told
message you
Audra,
sent was sent to the one person who wasn't gonna communicate with him.
Yeah, that was
on
the
purpose.
That was on purpose.
Yeah.
No, she was not trying to actually get the party to communicate. She was trying to get the vestige.
Right. Fair enough.
Yeah, no. So part of the reason you were targeted was because you were the arcane character.
Yeah.
I figured.
You are covered in magic tattoos. We're clearly messing with stuff. And also, vestige, and if either of them turn to stone, those vestiges turn with them.
Yep.
And so that was part of the mentality as well. Is it's like, well, between the two of you, you're the bigger threat immediately to a spellcaster.
Hey. No, it's okay. It's true.
So
You can't slow fall on them.
there's your little So there's your little vision behind the DM screen of how that process was.
I kind of figured because I was also the one messing with stuff. I didn't think of the vestiges. That makes sense.
Yeah, or
Reese,
the vestments.
if you'd
The
have turned lore to stone instead, do you think that there would have been a different outcome?
No, because
No?
I don't think I think it would have been a lot less fighting and a lot more running.
No, I think it would have been a different outcome because of who's. No.
Oh well, actually no. I do think
because Sam would have been able to play.
Stop it.
Because that's the thing.
Yeah.
Is Sam was the only one who could play ball, and so Sam would have been playing ball.
So yeah, I think there would have been a different outcome. Nobody would have been turned to stone.
Yeah,
Probably.
right. We'd all be dead, and the vestiges would be lost.
Oh.
But nobody would be turned to stone.
Vestments.
Frick.
Vestiges is critical role. I
Yep.
intentionally chose a
Vestments.
different word. Maybe I should have chosen one that sounds more
With a different letter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, vestments
It's like
would have
Vex
been
and
lost.
Vax and Veth and Vesh.
Yeah.
So
No, it was frustratingly logical for Sam to get turned to stone.
yeah,
I was also kind of thinking that maybe she was getting close to some solution, but yeah.
But grander like ethical discussion of like where were you at as players, where were you at as characters? Like obviously, you've said like Audra has like you told me you were like, I know what you want here, and Audra has no reason to do it.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I was frustrated at half of that fight because I knew I was metagaming because I knew what you wanted.
Yeah.
Audra would have left the minute that that person whose name I'm not so sure.
Satori.
Yeah,
Satori.
yep. The minute that they were like, I need the vestments, and they're like, I'm gonna kill someone, Audra would have been split. Like, because the map itself panicked her. Panicked. And
Yeah, just
like
the immensity.
yeah,
of what
yeah,
the
and
grandeur
something
of
like
what's going on.
I'll reveal now because we still have to talk about what is happening. But something that Audra noticed from the plans is that the Tuzaret clan weren't listed.
Tuzarek clan
Or
it was
Kaizo.
only Tuzarek wasn't
Wherever
really,
Vitoka is from.
Yeah, so Tuzarek wasn't brought up on the maps because it's off of the mainland.
Yeah.
So the map
Okay.
included the mainland and the Delsurenek Islands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't actually
I thought
include
there was a
Tuzarek.
section about Tuzarek.
So it was like the panic of how large this scale of attack is, the knowledge that, at least from the notes that she gathered, Vitoka and the Visalak people might be safe, and that might be someone to run to be like, oh my gosh, something's on fire. And then again, every time they come across the body parts of Kuza, they lose. Like in Audra's mind, there is no, like they have never won once.
Yeah.
And so it was a losing battle. And so I almost split at the very beginning, but I was like, I know we got to try and stay together like that. So that's the only reason I stayed as long as I did. And then I
Yeah.
even ran back. But every time I did it, I was like, this is me metagaming. If I were playing Audra, she would have been gone like 30 minutes into the episode. So I was frustrated with myself that I waited so long to do what like ultimately I ended up doing.
Yep. Well, I was incredibly surprised that you stuck around for that long.
Yeah.
That's why I
Well,
said
that was not
that's why I sent the
authentic to
message.
Audra
Yeah.
because I was like, this is not. Yeah, this is not
Right.
where
Yeah.
her mind
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
And also just like trying to figure out, the prophecy, and it could be good, but it's like
But
to
there's
try and make it happen in the way that it needs to happen. And again, it's like everything, whenever they've gone up against these people, it has never worked out. And so until there is a solid game plan, they cannot get all the pieces. It makes zero sense. And so, and for me, it's like these people have signed up. We know what we're getting into. To say we don't trade lives, I'm like, look at all the people that have probably already died and probably will die if we don't get out of here.
Yep.
Not worth it.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
for Bran, well, Bran was less focused on that. He just hates Satori and like that. He goes, vision red, like that sort of thing. He
Flashing
kinda,
white.
Yeah, right. He gets very tunnel vision when Satori is around because there's just so much wrapped up in Satori.
Yeah.
And he's survived so many times. But I think for me, the ethical question would have been answered if Samira had been able to tell. This would have been me metagaming, but if Samira had been able to tell Bran, go. Like if he had heard that from Samira, like we talked about earlier in this episode, like the willing sacrifice of a person, I'm perfectly fine with. So if Samira had been able to say those words to Bran would have been out of there in a second.
And faster than everybody else.
Right, faster than
Yeah.
everybody else. Wouldn't have dropped his vestment. Like he would have been gone.
Yeah.
But, well, again, with me metagaming, I don't quite know what would have happened with him and Satori, but let's just say that was resolved somehow. He would have been gone.
Satori was on the rocks.
Right, exactly.
I
so-
had a feeling, but again, I was like, that's why I was hesitating because I was like, Audra already should have been gone.
Yeah.
So the fact that I was coming back to even potentially try and like
Yeah.
get a hit in, I was like, this
I
is
just-
me trying to keep the band together when at this point,
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's an interesting question, and luckily, I think also with the fact that Duvreg had his piece hidden, and if the prophecy is utterly true, we know that they need everything, right?
Yep.
And so up until the point that Duvreg turned, we had that secret kind of in our pocket that we had held on to. So even if they got everything else, even if they took the blade and mine, we still would have had an edge kind of
Well,
thing.
and that's part of the reason Duvreg actually went for the move of let's just give it up.
Right.
Because he also had in mind, like, he was looking at it from the perspective of hopeful future. Like, you clocked something within Duvreg that really latched onto the possibility of we can turn this for good.
yeah.
And in addition to that, like, not only did Duvreg spot that and sort of carry that mentality, but he also knew that you guys still controlled enough of the pieces to stop. Like, he still had 2/5 of one. And
Yeah.
2/5 of one is enough to stop it, and it's also less noticeable than a full missing dagger.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how did that work out for him?
And so,
Hey,
well,
Do not speak
Well,
badly of Duvreg.
yeah.
That poor man.
I am also going to point out, if you had listened to Duvreg, he would still be alive.
Yep.
Listen.
But also,
Rest in pepperoni.
here's the deal. We got to go back. We got to look at history, right? Because
Yeah, no, for
we
sure.
look at way back in the Ima fight, right? And they gave up what they were looking for.
Yep.
And
Yep.
she came to find out that because she did that, then half of the Tuzarek clan were gone.
Yep.
Not making that mistake again.
Yeah, no, for
Yeah.
sure.
I wasn't there for that stuff.
Yeah.
So like me as Lore, I was like, yeah, of course we're gonna stick together. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
Of course we're gonna. I was like, yeah, give it to
Absolutely.
him.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I think everyone played it the way that like
Yeah.
our characters would have.
would've.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think for me as a player, I was frustrated it took me as long as it did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you hear that internal struggle where I was like, is this going to mess the plan up? Because I'm like, I know we got this whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, and I mean, that's like, you did ask. You were like, how much is this going to mess you up? And I was like, do what
Do
you
it,
do.
right.
Yeah.
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 Because like I obviously had a very like strong design for where this could go, but
Yep.
Yeah.
the whole thing was I'm putting a dilemma in front of you.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And I put a dilemma in front of you so it could be a dilemma.
Yeah.
It
yeah.
wasn't put in front of you to be an instantly solvable problem.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was meant to be like, this is a prisoner's dilemma.
Yeah.
Is what
Yep.
it is.
Yeah.
It's the
Yep. Yep.
train track trolley dilemma.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
all of these things wrapped up into one. And then you also have the question of, well, why wouldn't Satori, like, and you pointed out, I don't know why Satori wouldn't just kill you guys once you gave it over.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I think also
Because
it-
that's how it is in my mind.
Yeah.
right. It showed an interesting amount of character growth, I think, in Bran, that he split his attention between Chichori and trying to save Sam.
Yeah, that you were
That
actually.
like there was an attempt, right? Because we have seen old Bran pre-vignette Bran not attempt to save somebody and try to kill the bad guy,
Hit me.
and that ended very poorly. So I think it was interesting. There was one moment where I asked, how far away is Sam? And Rhys said 60 feet, and it was right before the arrows were about to go. And
Yeah.
if you'd been within 30 feet, he was going to misty step right in front of you
Yeah.
and take the arrow.
Mm.
But just didn't have, like,
Yeah.
it wasn't capable of doing it. So
Yep.
it just was, it was a mess.
Yeah.
Where were you at? Because you were obviously made of stone for the majority of it.
I missed Klaus in that moment. I would have snatched up all the vestments and just destroyed them right in front of Satori. If it were Klaus,
No.
I would have just
100%.
incinerated them.
Oh.
Just smiling, just laughing.
Yeah.
Just would have fireballed it in his own hand.
Yep. Fire, anything, everything.
Right.
Anything and
Dispel
everything.
magic, something like that.
Whatever I could have, yeah, I missed Klaus in that moment.
That's fair. Okay, that's a fair point. Why didn't I think of that?
Because you're not Klaus.
Because you don't think the way that I do. Thank goodness. I don't know. I honestly, from the very beginning of the whole confrontation, I was just like, I was still trying to figure out the equation when what I should have done is what he said, just said, leave me here. Mm-hmm. Just run away.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that would have solved the ethical problem in a hot second.
Yeah.
I'm going.
Well, that was kind of the move with giving you the sending stone that's
Right.
specifically designed to just contact her master.
Which you haven't used.
No, because he talked to me and he said,
Oh, that's right.
"Get her
Yeah.
out of there."
Yes, he did. That's right.
How
That
did he
didn't
know
help.
that? That was my question. Was that you trying to get us to do the thing?
I
Or,
don't actually know all of it, but I'm guessing
He has got some
he
tabs
probably
on her?
has some tabs on her. He
Yeah.
put a lot of resources into Sam.
Oh, I mean, so by the time that sending stone was used, your heart of stone had started beating.
yeah.
Um,
So yeah, I don't want to get too far into it again.
And some of that may still come up.
Some of it may still come up, but basically, I love that whole debacle. I even called the episode "The Cost of a Life."
yeah.
Because
that.
because I absolutely loved it, and that was the reason why I was ready to expend all of the rest of the magical resources that I
Right.
had to send one single message to Audra: run.
Yeah.
Don't give it to them. Don't give them that satisfaction. I don't care if we can turn this around. I just don't want them to have it.
Yeah.
My life is not worth the lives of all of these people, right?
Any other further questions in this space? I mean, you kind of spoke to it already. If you want to answer more fully.
I would say, listening to it from the beginning when Lore came in as this, super optimist, fresh out of the monastery,
Yeah.
let's be a team.
Yeah.
And now experiencing, I remember you saying, well, be prepared to, be disappointed. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not expecting it, but, I'm ready for it. And now it's, I feel like Lore's going to have, a serious, midlife crisis or something.
Yeah.
because,
Yeah, totally.
He really was on
Spend
like itty bitty missions before, and it was go do the big thing now,
Yep.
and it
Yeah.
was bigger than you thought it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also it's now I've seen what, in my mind, what's the most powerful thing that I value is teamwork and friendship and the power of being unified. And now being faced with having spent all of this time with you guys, and then just your priority was not
That.
each other.
Yeah.
It was,
Yeah.
actually other people.
100%.
And so I just feel like that's going to cause a lot of
Yeah.
internal
Yeah.
Which is
conflict.
really interesting.
We're going
looking
back, baby.
really interesting looking at Audra's
Yeah.
vignette, which had this major sub theme of love and family and friendship doesn't always overcome the sucky parts of the world.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so just very interesting seeing you having to grapple with that concept and now it's switching over to her.
Welcome to those who are new to the real world. Arcs.
No
They're super
more
fun.
Yep.
slabs
Yep.
in the underlight.
This is why I literally, when I went back and listened, I was like, wow. Because Audra was like, don't name it. Because once you name it, it falls apart. And then literally 20 minutes
Fell
later, I was
apart.
like,
Yep.
Yeah.
And there it
I
is.
love it so much.
yeah.
Later.
Chef's kiss.
I was curious. I'm going to do a bonus action question in
Yeah.
here. When you let Sam send a message, did you have a clue of what Christian was about to say? Or
I figured he was going to say something in the vein of go. I wasn't sure entirely, but it's not my job to know what, like
Yeah.
very much towards the end of that episode, it was no longer, I need to know what you're doing, and more like, okay, how are we going to barter to give you more control than you're supposed to have
Yeah.
here?
There was a lot of bartering.
Yeah.
There was a lot of bargaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was bad.
A lot of bartering going
Yes,
on.
yeah, no.
When you said that you were ready not to level up just to get one stab in, I was like, no, don't do that.
Well, and this is where like the struggle, because again, I was like, I should be gone.
Yep.
But I was like, I know that like
I feel
we
like
have been trying to stay together as much as possible, as much as like story wise as possible. But I was like, the only way that she stays, I was like, maybe I will roll a natural 20. And I was like, if I could get sneak attack because I'm invisible and divine smite, maybe there's a chance.
probably would have killed him.
Yeah. But I feel like it would have had to be a natural 20, which is like so.
on the save. I
yeah.
feel like that entire, because you keep saying that this was not where that you were metagaming. I don't think you were metagaming. I
Yeah,
feel like the
no,
struggle
'cause
that you were presenting was very much Audra's internal struggle as well.
Yeah.
Like, I know I should be here, but it feels wrong to stay.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that was
Like-
actually perfect.
And I do think that I think it does reflect Audra's vignette and everything that she went through there. I do think, yeah, like I think it is the two sides of Audra internally fighting, and which is also interesting because like you look at it and like the running away and leaving when the fight is not winnable is also like a kind of Klaus move.
yeah. Right.
And it's just interesting because I remember you saying like in one of our-
Preparation for this.
well, no, I think in one of the Gone Rogues, talking about the letter you left. Or wait, no, we never actually talked about that. Yeah, then I won't talk.
Yeah, we never talked
that's-
about the letters.
That's not actually been brought to air yet, or brought to light yet. The
yeah.
content of the letters. Yeah,
No,
Bran read his.
Bran read his. She didn't read hers.
Yeah.
yeah. It's not been brought to air.
Mine was just
Kill
really,
everyone,
really
die,
kill everybody,
die,
die,
die.
I hate
Yep.
you, die.
Yep.
I hate you more. I'm going to kill you, die.
But that's the thing. Similar actions, different intentions.
Yes,
Klaus
very much
would have grabbed the daggers and ran away, more of like a kind
Right.
of move, like in your face,
Like,
screw you.
You're a mean
Yes.
one, Mr. Grinch kind of vibe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For Sam, it's more like I am trying to. I'm trying to solve this. I'm
Yeah.
here to rescue these people.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
here to bring justice and bring the unworthy to justice.
Yep.
And so,
Definitely.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Dang.
But we made it.
Awesome.
Did we?
Well, we'll find
Sorry,
out.
yeah.
where
We'll
we
find
make it.
out.
I feel like the fallout of this is going to be very
Yeah.
going to be very interesting.
Very
Ooh,
much.
that's a
Ladies
good
and
title for the
gentlemen,
next episode, The Fallout.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Goodbye,
Moody&D
all.
Gone Rogue.
We love you.
Love you.
We love you all. Have a good night.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
See you next week. Thank you all for joining us this week on Moody&D. You can catch our live stream on XN Radio at xnradio.cc or on the XN Radio app every Saturday at 2 p.m. CST. Or you can pop on over to our Spotify or Apple Podcasts to catch the episode the following Monday at 10 a.m. CST. Also be sure to follow our Instagram at Moody_N_D. Once again, that's the @ symbol, Moody_N_D. That's all for this week, folks. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye, friends.